Howdy folks, it's approximately 2:30 in the afternoon on May the 14th, 2022. I hope our creator's keeping you well and safe wherever you are in the world. Please make sure to hit that like button, share this across other platforms so we can bring awareness of what's going on our planet and out in the solar system. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell in case we have any critical future updates. Today we're going to start off on the Schumann resonance, and we are looking in Tomsk, Russia. That's where this one is, and we can see what our current levels are. It's nothing too major. We are getting some little pings and spikes here and there. Looks like we have a power play of about 46. Looks like yesterday we had I think it was like 51 or 52, and right now we're at about a 46. But the average is down here about 21. So we are seeing some higher activity. As we come up here and we check out our Italian model, we can see that we are definitely having some electromagnetic frequencies going on here. This is very low frequency. This is our electromagnetic field, and we can see that there is some activity going on. However, when we come down to the geophones, we can see that there's a lot of activity here. The geophones are hitting, or this is our Schumann rather. These are the geophones for it, and these are different models that they use to see what kind of activity there are. And we can clearly see that there's something going on here. But when we go and check overnight, we had a lot of just full-out blasting, right? Well, last night before I went to bed, I was actually looking at this, and you come down to the bottom, and we can see that there is lightning in the area. And that's where a lot of that noise will come from. Not all of it. I will say not all of it, because it's hard to tell at this point. It's hard to get an accurate reading. But I am very aware. I mean, look at all of these lightning strikes. There's a whole bunch of it that was going on, and some of it was all over here. So this is the colors and stuff of what was going on, the different frequencies, because each frequency has a color. Because color is a frequency in visual form. And as we can see here, this baby was just really loud, went off the charts and up into the geophone with it. So I mean, it's really beautiful to see, to look at. Unfortunately, like I said, the lightning was kind of getting in the way. So, but this here also lets us know of the different noises. But as far as the Schumanns go, that's all that we have to report for that. Now, I did want to get onto something and let you guys know to remind you, don't forget about the eclipse. Okay, that's going to be tomorrow. Okay, in fact, before we get into that, I'm going to show you guys this right here. Take a screenshot, hit pause and screenshot. This is our map, so that way you'll know about from when to when you can be out there and expect to see it. Okay, now it is going to be a little bit more red than normal because of the Tonga volcano. This is what they're reporting. And actually, I'll go full screen on this, and we'll hit play with it. And this is the showing of when the Tonga volcano had actually gone off. We can see it came all the way up into the mesosphere. So that's pretty high. There's a lot of particles that are up in that part of the atmosphere that is going to make the moon look more red than normal. So that's something that we can expect, which is actually kind of a rare event. It's going to be pretty cool to see. See, here's our stratosphere, where it was getting into, and then the mesosphere when it first erupted. So some of the stuff will definitely be up into not just the mesosphere, but the stratosphere. So lots of fun stuff ahead. And here's another little quick glance at the time that we're going to see the events happen, between the 15th and the 16th. This is Eastern Daylight Time, I do believe. And we're going to have a little go over, kind of sped it up about double so that way we can see it coming through. And it gives us a little time of when it hits each certain section. So this will be very nice. And actually, it will be almost an hour and a half long event. It's going to last for about 87 to 89 minutes, which is quite a long time, which tells us that it's just about perfectly, which would be right here, smack in the center, perfectly behind the Earth, 100% alignment. So it's just slightly off, which is what gives us that nice long time. Tomorrow, I'm actually going to try and do a live on my phone. I'm going to have my telescope hooked up to the back of my phone. I'm going to have my tripod out. As long as the weather is good, I'm going to try and do a live. And I will have my computer, or not my computer, but my cell phone hooked up to my telescope, and I will be on the tripod, and I will be trying to watch live with you guys the actual eclipse so that we can watch it in real time together. For those of you who are interested, I would be glad to have you join me, and I will probably be doing it real close to the eclipse itself. So maybe 15 minutes before the moon starts to become eclipsed is when we will start, and then I will try to be live through the entire duration of the eclipse until it pops out the other side. I will also have communications. I will talk with you guys as we're going through it. I'll have my computer out there so that way I can see what's going on in the chat, because when I'm live, it'll take up my whole screen. So I would be glad for anybody to join me for the special event. Now here we are at LASCO C2 and LASCO C3. There's really not a whole lot to report, except for we've got some missing data here. As you can see, we've got a Bohr cube here, and we can see this little splice here and here that it's kind of altering the satellite, and then it goes from 48 minutes, so 36 to 48, that's 12 minutes, to 125. So we're missing quite a bit of data. They were missing over half an hour, but that's all there is. There's a few crafts and a few trails to look at. Here in LASCO C3, we can see there's a really nice warp signature trail, if you want to call it that. But a little bit later, we've actually got a pretty good little friend here. Right there. There's another little warbird here with his head, his wings, his tail, and his little trail of la 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 coming out from behind him. Then when we come on over here, we're going to check out seeds. We're going to kind of continue on from yesterday, when we right about the time that we had that that anomaly. It looked like it was flying into the sun. So if you look here and here, you will see it coming out of nowhere and actually coming into the sun, flying into the sun. Look at that. You see that? It's going into the sun. This is backwards. This is forwards. You can see it going into the sun, which is quite crazy to me. But if we continue to run it, you can actually see other things that are flying into the sun. Let's start over from the beginning. Keep an eye over here. You'll see things actually going into the sun in this direction. Do you see that? Like right here, there is something going into the sun. That's going forward. This is backwards, so it looks like it's coming out. And this is forward. So something is going in the sun, flying in the sun regularly. Now, the other thing I wanted you guys to pay attention to is you see all these flares that are kicking off this side? That's kicking off the back side of the sun. And those sunspots, that sunspot group rather, that's responsible for all these major flares, they're actually going to be Earth-facing. They're actually starting to crest the limb, and I wanted to show those to you here. The one we just looked at was from yesterday. This is from yesterday. The other one is from 2 days ago. Watch right here. You'll see things. Look at this. It's going. Look at that. It went into the sun. It's going in the sun. What flies in the sun as it's pushing out and exploding like that? Those are massive objects, folks. So I think our sun is absolutely a Stargate. Things go in and out all the time. They just need to know. You see how the things are moving around like they're manipulating the magnetism. Remember, magnetism is the key to everything. So they can manipulate it and travel in and out of it like a portal or a Stargate, if you will. This one is from today. If you look here, look at, you see all these things just going into the sun. There are things flying in our sun. Look at this. What is that? Something is happening, folks, and this is pretty exciting. I would really love to know what that is that's flying in the sun as the sun is exploding and erupting. And here we are at Stereo Ahead. Seed Sechi, and we're actually looking at, we got 2 craft here and here, but I don't see anything flying into the sun on this one. It's a little bit more vague. The detail is not as clear, so we're just gonna have to go with what we have. We're gonna take a quick little jump over here to Solarham. We're gonna take a look at what we got going on here, and right now this is what our current X-ray is. It looks like we're dancing right around B and C. We're still in the C's, it looks like. Let's go ahead and tap on it. See what it tells us, and we are still living in C, but it's low C, really close to B. Okay, go ahead and back up out of that. Looks like we're actually just having a flare, but as we come down, we can see our KP index is coming up to 3. We'll probably get into 4 by Monday, and let's take a look at our ACE Mag and CPAM, and it looks like we're doing really good with that with our poles. So everything, whatever we might be getting, that little glancing blow, it really wasn't much of anything for that we received. But I do want to show y'all this. This right here, these right here are our sunspots. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They call it plague, but they just haven't given it a number yet. But 307 we definitely have to keep our eye on because it's directly Earth facing and it's very unstable, as you guys can tell. Just like that, it's not very stable at all. In fact, there's lots of positive and negatives. There's lots of friends to play with, so that could be a bad ordeal. But the ones that I think we need to keep an eye on, 310, yeah, but this for sure, 311, and what's coming around the corner. What's coming around the corner is this bad boy. Look at the size of this grouping. This is what this white line here is, of course, the eastern limb. And look at the size of this immense monstrosity of sunspot group. This is coming around the corner at us, okay? So it makes this little guy, even though he looks pretty active, it makes this guy look like nothing compared to this. This is what we need to be watching for. So eyes are definitely on this guy for sure. And as we come over here to Iswa, we're going to take a look at the 304 from early this morning. And actually, whoa, look at that. We've got ourselves a nice little friend right there. Hey there, buddy. How you doing? Got ourselves a spacecraft. But what I really wanted to draw you guys' attention to was right down here at this filament right here. Because we actually have... Oh, we had another friend here. Oh, see him right there? There he is. There's actually a few of them on this one here today. But this here, actually, when you're watching it, it actually looks like it could be coming at us. Oh, there was another little friend right there. Did you see him off to the left? Where'd he go? There he is. Right there. You got another one. Got crafts all over. But this thing here, it actually kind of cracks off like a bullwhip. And it looks like it's whipping around towards us. Whoosh, look at that. See how it whipped that? It came from behind and just flung it right in our direction. You see that? So we do have plasma inbound. This is real time. I just got this loaded up. So that is coming at us, folks. Yes, sir, indeed. Now, it's not a crap ton, but hey, plasma is plasma. And that is coming at us. So now if we look in on this region here, look at the size of that sunspot group. Look at all the activity and the movement going on in that region. Oh yeah, she's spitting and sputtering, and yeah, that's going to be facing us. All of it's going to be facing us here in the next 4 or 5 days when it all comes around, and we'll get a really good picture of all of it. So keep your eyes open for that. We'll take a look here at the 335. We'll actually kind of start right here where you can see it coming across the limb. See how bright that region is? Now this right here is 307. It makes the 307 look like a puny little nothing compared to how bright this region is right here. So again, we have to keep our eyes on that. Here's another good look at it on the 94. Well, that's where all of our activity has been so far. The majority of the activity has been from that sunspot group. As it's coming around, look at all that movement in action. Oh yeah, and that'll be facing us really soon. Now we're going to come down here, and I'm actually going to show you guys here. This is one of my favorite overlays because you get to see a little bit more. I don't show it very often, but you get to see a little bit more action with it as far as like solar tsunamis. And we've actually had a few eruptions right here while it was Earth facing. Now here, I'll back this up off to the right of the sun here as we're looking over here. We can see that big eruption that we had on the 11th. So, and then as we're coming around, you'll actually see a little solar tsunami come from this guy right here, right as she's coming across the limb at us, looking right at us. Boom, you see that? See the solar tsunami from it? So there was some plasma from that on the yesterday, so that's actually coming our direction. It didn't look like it was a whole lot though. And right here, you can see where it flung off at us, right there. You can get to see that a little bit better. Yep. So we do have inbound from that. And this one, this is the 211. I don't use it very often, but the reason I'm using it today is to show you guys the size of this and depth of this coronal hole. Look how dark it is. When you have a deep, dark coronal hole like that, there's going to be some severe solar winds with it. Now, keep in mind that this is all a coronal hole as well along the equatorial plane. All of this is a coronal hole. It's just not as pronounced and deep as this. These are going to be high solar winds. And this will be hitting us probably between Sunday and Monday. We're going to start getting the effects of that. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on the pressure for us. All right? And then, of course, as we move forward, we can see the movement here from the eruption that we had on the 13th. And we can see more of that bright region as it's coming around the limb up here in the northeast quadrant. So keep your eyes open. Have no fear, and remember that love is the only way forward.